Okay, we are joined here by John Gaeta, the founder and CEO of escape.ai, and we're here to talk about the Escape Awards. So first thing, John, for all of our creative professionals and people from various backgrounds who are just learning about the world of AI, tell us, what are the Escape Awards?
They have been created to celebrate the people, not only in the wider community of Gen AI and emergent cinema, neo cinema, we like to call it, but also the people who have led in innovation and creativity on the Escape platform. Um, if you've been there, you will notice that it is the best in class. You are on there actually, but it is the best of the best. It's an incredible collection of people who are, how would I put it, leading, in all ways. And so with the Escape Awards, we are trying something completely different. It's not a contest, a competition, or anything like that. There are no judges from the outside of the community that are not necessarily anywhere near as insightful and expert as the people actually in the community itself. So the way that we do these awards is the awards are for people, not individual pieces of content. They are categories and classes, of types of expertise and everything from artistry to mastering technology and things like this. The creators on the platform nominate one another, and then from those nominations, winners are as well selected by the creators on the platform. So it's in a sense, it's kind of like an academy. We don't really, it's early days, but it is the best way to determine, who is, admired.
Yeah, like that. I did notice that the categories were not a matter of like awarding the film itself, but more for the creators in different styles of creativity. How'd you even come up with the idea to go that way with it? Because that seems counterintuitive to most awards shows.
That's the whole point. I mean, the first thing that's most important is that uh, it seems kind of strange to shackle a whole new paradigm for making content, stories, all kinds of content, shackle the new community with the old community, as in we're not necessarily innovating to please the old community. It's great, it's great to collaborate, right? And these coming years are all going to be about the most amazing collaborations between people who are just coming in, right, with people who are, sort of leading the way right now. That's of course, ideal, right? But at this time, it's so much more, meaningful, I think, to have people who understand, what's involved, and just to basically reflect on who's contributing things that they value. So it's that part that matters the most. The categories they're like people types, right? So you have people who are, some people are masters of craft. They're just obviously, extremely well skilled in workflow and technology application, etc. Things like this, perfecting elements and imagery and whole scenes. There's just a lot, obviously, that goes to that. There are people who are alchemists, right? Inventors, doing very experimental things that just don't exist in other kinds of media. And really, it's something that has to be looked at for what it is. Because film began that way, traditional cinema began with lots of experimentation. There's lots of categories, but they're person type categories, and folks are trying to more or less, you know, find the person they think, sort of bestows those qualities.
Well, what I really enjoyed when I first discovered the Escape platform was that phrase "neo cinema" that was new to me, but it seems to me to capture something about this movement, this revolution that's happening. So perhaps you could share a few words about what you see as the vision for where neo cinema and this whole idea of neo cinema is going over the next few years.
Yeah, thanks for asking that. I mean, that term, I've actually lived with that term for a bunch of years. I've always, you know, found myself working with people, colleagues, or just watching people who are reinventing form. And, you know, before Gen AI, there was a kind of a revolution in like people using game engines to make movies and other kinds of media. Before that, there are there's capture revolutions in capture, revolutions in ways people render, all sorts of interesting things that people have tried, right, using technology to achieve, making a complete work. And so neo cinema isn't really about Gen AI per se. It's umbrella, Gen AI is a perfect kind of methodology umbrellaed under a lot of emergent, methodology. And the reason for the neo is that, I guess the transition from old-timey cinema, mechanical cinema, chemical cinema, towards digital cinema, towards real-time cinema, and now just really the floodgates have broken open and people are trying all sorts of radical things. So it does help capture the time and umbrella or the efforts of many. And the last thing I'll say about it is all this stuff is about convergence as well, convergence of people who, have used different methods together, convergence of technique and method, right? You'll see game engines and Gen AI mashed together. You'll see photography and game engines and Gen AI mashed together. You'll see it all, right? You'll see people try everything in these coming years. And so just sort of, anticipating that the tool or, to pigeonhole somebody in one method or another is kind of silly. And it's one of the reasons why we don't really even headline tools on Escape. It's really about original fiction, or visual music. It's really about genres, right? That all of this new emerging techniques are working towards.
So obviously you're very, very passionate about this emerging field of neo cinema, Gen AI, video, all this kind of stuff. So I'm curious, how did you come to be involved with it?
Well, it's just kind of something that's built into my natural curiosity. I mean, like when I was a younger person, I never really thought as a kid that I'd end up working in movies and media, but I wound up on a path following it because it gave me joy. Photography gave me joy, all sorts of stuff. And then as I sort of came into movie making, I was living in New York City and eventually connected with people who did, special effects and visual effects, and then found myself on a pathway toward visual effects in cinema. I found myself involved with the Matrix trilogy purely because I and my friends and colleagues were like risk takers. So we were, again, very experimental. And there are other people who want that, right? People want to collaborate with people, trying to bend form and do new things. So once the bug, I got bit by that bug and had a positive experience with it, right? I said, well, this is really what I want to continue to follow, is people who are trying to change form as they go, along with telling remarkable stories, emotional stories, and all sorts of, human experience. Really, I'm interested in things beyond storytelling as well.
Well, it sounds like what you're describing to me the whole way along is that what's captured your attention and your passion has been that storytelling aspect, and the technology less as the thing to celebrate and more as the tool to do the storytelling, which is then the thing to celebrate, which again is reflected in the choice of categories for the Escape Awards, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the new canvas, and it's all about, to be honest with you, I mean, the thing that's, in my opinion, yes, I love stories. I love stories, but I also love, big experiences. I like being in worlds. I do like games a lot. I like all of these things, right? They're just different kinds of canvases for creative expression. The thing that is really one of the most important and exciting things about the Gen AI scene, though, is because, you are enabled to, create from beginning to end by yourself or with this very small group of people. And that's actually a thing that's possible now that wasn't really possible for decades upon decades, right?
Yeah.
And that just has unleashed, new voices everywhere around the world. It's just the most incredible aspect of this is that this is now allowing new people, new voices, new ideas, right, to just come into our daily lives. And it's only just begun. And the old system of gating and preventing and judging and risk aversion and all those things that old Hollywood is about, it's going to be swept away because there are plenty of people in the world that are looking for new stories and new worlds and new ideas. So this is like the greatest opportunity, I think, of a career and a lifetime, really, to like just start to step in and see what people want to talk about and be able to produce that material. I mean, it needs to be seen as a true revolution in entertainment.
Absolutely. All right. And I love that you're motivated to like help these people build out the worlds, tell the stories. It seems like that way you've kind of, at this stage anyway, applied your career and your kind of professional energy into is helping these people get these visions out of their head and get this inspiration onto a screen through these various different tools. You think so? You agree with that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I of course would love nothing better than to be allowed to make stuff myself all day long. But after a while, I mean, part of my motivation here is I've had like a great career of creating all this experimental stuff, but then, as have many friends and colleagues, but then when it comes to getting supported and distributed by gatekeeper distribution, everyone's suffering from the same problem, right? You're either walking on coals, taking years, begging for financing, and then losing control of it at the end if you even get the opportunity. Like, all right, you win, you have money to do your film or series or whatever, but we'll peel the rights off of you, right? We'll decide how that turns into more later if it becomes other formats and all. So extremely frustrating and difficult going up this path. Let's say the mainstream streamer, but it's equally frustrating to try to be discovered in a sea of a billion pieces of media. I mean, I know we all use YouTube. I use it every day, but it is in itself its own form of oppression, in my opinion, because you have to bend yourself to an algorithm to be noticed. You have to do so many things to be noticed, and then often what happens is that thing that is labor of love that you're putting out here is very often just sort of adjacent to a lot of irrelevant stuff, irrelevant noise, whatever it is, and that's not a good experience for the user or the content creator. You want to be in the neighborhood of like-minded people and content. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to like actually take those two ideas and mush them together: prestigious presentation and social media utility and all of those things, and then we curate Escape so that it's pretty assured that if you like this, you're gonna probably like that, and you're gonna probably like this, right? Because if you're the type of person that likes this kind of content, you like Love, Death, and Robots, you like stories based in game worlds, you like experimental stuff, you like character, unusual character stuff, anime, you like unusual things, you're going to love everything on Escape.
Which dovetails perfectly into my last question for you, which is what's next for the Escape Awards and for the Escape platform?
With the awards, I mean, the awards, one of the reasons that we wanted to do the awards now was we think that we're at an inflection point. It seemed like a good time to think about recognition, right? Because there's a lot of incredible stuff has happened over the last year or 2 years. So we thought, okay, this seems like a good time. And then for Escape, we basically were in a kind of a quiet alpha mode for the last year, but the whole time the creators were coming on, we were working with them to try to build utilities and features that were really kind of great for them. And then we've decided that it's time that we really purposefully turn outward. So at the same time of the awards, we also basically went to open beta, and now we're like talking to the outside world and saying, hey, check this out. This is a really beautiful place, destination for content. And so that also had occurred around the same time as the awards, this pivot to open beta. As far as the awards, well, let's see. All I can say is like it was such a success, and in my opinion, it was such a fun event. It was actually done in an immersive theater. It was kind of a way that a lot of creators met each other for the first time at this awards show. So in a sense, it was kind of a metaverse meets awards type of experience. We expect that to be exponentially better next year, but with the same spirit, right? It'll be like the idea of honoring people, not pieces of commercial media. And as far as Escape has lots of things happening now. We are now doubling down on a number of features. There's going to be a host of new monetization type of options so that creators, can not just, have a beautiful channel with an incredible collection, but they also can, be entrepreneurial. And Escape is in my view, we made Escape, creators made Escape, right? Not bankers, not venture capitalists. So Escape is for creators. It's maximum benefit to creators in terms of monetization terms and all this stuff. We're going to also have the introduction of kind of a social network application where people will be able to find each other, message, offer collaborations. There's a lot of people from both worlds, old paradigm, new paradigm, that kind of want to meet one another. And that's a very good thing to try to facilitate, because it'll raise everybody. Everyone will raise up by the power of their collaborators. And so we're looking to introduce that in the next month or two, the beginning of that. And then the third thing I'll say, which is third or fourth, the third thing I'll say is we're going to begin introducing curated, let's put it this way, interactive entertainment. So basically, the same sort of spirit as Neo Cinema, we're going to have a section called Neo Play, and it's going to be people who are inventing new forms of play, generatively, AI NPC character experiences, just strange interactive is coming. And what else can I say? I mean, we're working on we're going to release a iOS app. We're working on connected TV app. There's a lot of things coming.
That's all sounds awesome. I'm a big fan of the platform. I love taking part in the community, and I love watching videos on there. So I'm going to be watching for all of that to roll out in the coming months. John, thank you so much for giving me the time today. It was a pleasure to talk to you. A privilege is mine, absolutely. And all the very best for Escape and all the wonderful things coming to your way in the rest of this year.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Very happy to do it with you.
Thank you.